Happy Halloween, everyone.
Hey guys, how are we doing today? So today we are going to go on a little excursion. We're going to tour my neck of the woods out here. I live in a portion of unincorporated Jefferson County, Missouri, and not far from me is a little place called the Morse Hotel. Some of you may have heard of it. Most of you probably haven't. If you're in the St. Louis area, damn straight you've heard about it. This place has been featured on many ghost hunting shows. It's actually also been featured in its own episode on the Travel Channel of the most terrifying places in America. So real quick, we're going to take a field trip down the hill. We're going to look at it, and then we're going to tool on back and talk about it some more. Okay, kids, so we're tooling down my road. We're going to get up here to the highway. Google Maps says it's about an 11-minute drive, but seeing as how I know exactly where we're going and I'm more familiar with the roads and tend to probably break the speed limit, I'll be there a little sooner. So I'll take you guys along for the ride. Sorry for the bumpy. It's the gravel road. Can't do anything about that. So sit tight. We're going to Morse Mill Hotel. So this is the Morse Mill Hotel as it stands today. There's clearly been a lot of renovation going on, but we're going to look at pictures in a little bit of before and after and where they are now. And in the future, it is going to become a friendly little bed and breakfast. Will I come stay here? It sounds exciting, but I'm definitely going to have to bring somebody with me besides Wayne, because Wayne would be like, hell to the no. So let's just tool around here and we'll come out at the bottom. And the fact that this is a residential neighborhood, like, still freaks me out. But you can see the whole deal and all the supplies of everything they're working on. I'll go over here and show you the sign. Yeah, it doesn't look creepy from today, but when we get back and we see some of the old school pictures and hear some of the stories, then I guess you'll know. Give me just a minute, we'll be back at the house. Okay, so we're back. That was super easy, not too far from home. I was thinking of different things that we could do for Halloween. I'm a huge fan of Halloween. I love spooky stuff, supernatural stuff. I love that stuff year round, but it's always more fun to talk about in the month of October because even the people that would never talk about this stuff want to talk about it in the month of October. So like I said, like we saw, today's theme is going around the Morse Mill Hotel and all of the crazy things that may or may not happen there, depending on what side you fall of the fence of whether you believe in these sorts of things or whether you're like, hell no. Like we discussed at the beginning, the Morse Mill Hotel is just a few minutes from my house in a portion of unincorporated Jefferson County, Missouri. Myself and the hotel are about 45 minutes southwest of St. Louis City, Missouri. If you're not familiar with that, if you're overseas, we are the city with the big arch. So Jefferson County, Missouri was settled in the early 1800s, not long before Missouri joined the Union and became a state on August 10th of 1821. The southwest portion of the county, which is where I live, was settled by a man named Francis Weidman. And, Francis and his family moved here and all was good, except for the fact that his family even believed that he was a sorcerer of sorts who could conjure the devil. Now, the native Indians to this area did not take lightly to that idea. They wanted no part in that. And also the native Indians did not like basically the encroachment on their land. They were like, you got to get out, take all your people and everybody else you brought with you. You guys got to roll. The natives would cause all sorts of crazy violence. They would do things to get people to pack up and move out, which did work quite a few times. A lot of people did pack up their families and move up to St. Louis seeking safety. Now, the Morse Hotel was built in 1816, so it's just over 200 years old. When it was originally constructed, it was a little one-room shack, like we heard Reba McEntire talk about in the song Fancy.
We lived in a one-room rundown shack on the outskirts of New Orleans.
Now, John Morse purchased the property in 1856. He was an amazing engineer, amazing designer. He built things all around this area out here. There's many bridges and different buildings that are attributed to him, and some of the buildings and bridges are actually historic sites in the state of Missouri. Now, over time, he made additions to the property, so it went from a one-room shack up to a 5,300 square foot building with 4 floors and 18 different sleeping quarters. Now, the 18 sleeping quarters haven't been used since the early 1930s. Throughout its lifetime, the Morse Mill Hotel has been used as a hospital, a hotel, a brothel, a speakeasy, a gambling facility. It's also been used as a post office, a general store, and even a halfway house as late as the 1980s. Over the years, it's said that many notable figures from our history have stayed here. Their guest book of sorts is absolutely amazing, and everything is handwritten, so you get to see a lot of cool things. There are some pictures online, and if you do ever decide to tour there, you can definitely see more. Over time, the people who are believed to have stayed there, folks include Charlie Chaplin, Jesse James, Al Capone, Charles Lindbergh, Clara Bow, and the gal we're going to talk about next, Bertha Gifford. Now, while you know probably the first 5 names I listed off, you may or may not know about old Bertha Gifford. If you love true crime and you love how it entangles in with weird history and some just the more off the wall the story is, the more I like it. And if that's you, if you're like me in that regard, you're going to love this, because this is something else. Now, Bertha Gifford worked at the Morse Mill Hotel along with her husband. They each had like management jobs to a certain extent. They would, tend to the property, take care of whatever guests needed, extra towels, whatever. Bertha became known for her excellent cooking skills, and eventually she became widely known for her caretaking skills. She would take care of sick relatives and friends and neighbors and make sure that everything with them was on the up and up. She would just take care of them around the clock. If there was more hours in the day, she would be there as often as she could. Over time, people began to die on her watch. Now, mind you, in the early 1900s, one death... Oh my God. Why is my phone going off? So sorry. I have rude family members. In the early 1900s, it wasn't that uncommon for somebody to die at a young age or kind of die unexpectedly or with no cause that's given, because at that time, modern medicine obviously did not exist. So one death really didn't raise any eyebrows. But when there were 5 in a short period of time, people were sitting around like, wait a second, wasn't Bertha the last one with him? What do you know about Bertha? The fuck is Bertha up to? So people began to talk, and not long after the rumors started swirling, a grand jury investigation was put into place. Eventually she was charged with 3 murders and went to trial. The trial lasted for 3 days, and she was actually found not guilty by reason of insanity, and she was put away for the rest of her life in a mental institution where she died in 1951. Now, Bertha acted as a nurse and caregiver to many of her friends and family and neighbors. And even after the trial concluded, people still were talking. They were like, what the hell? Can you believe what just went down with Bertha? I never would have thought that about her. Like, oh my goodness, whatever. Well, through all the small town talk and the rumors and the accusations, it was determined that at least a total of 17 people died on that broad's watch. And it's speculated that up to at least 23, if not more. Like, that broad was busy. Now, during the time of the trial, there were 3 bodies that were exhumed, and they were found to have high levels of arsenic in their system. So what people began to speculate is that because she was such a good cook, she was lacing everybody's food with arsenic. And among her favorite things to cook were sweets. So cupcakes, cakes, chocolates, any candy. Like, don't go trick-or-treating at Bertha's crib. That's all I'm saying. Like, don't go there. It's not going to end well. Bertha and many of her victims are buried at a cemetery just down the road from the Morse Mill Hotel. Now, one of her husbands, who she is suspected of poisoning, is buried there with her, but they're not like, there's no joining plots here. He's like, you need to keep that bitch on the other side, because I'm done with her. So, but there are victims there that she's suspected of, and even one that she's convicted of, as well as some of the children that she murdered, which is just horrific. Like, she was a horrible, horrible woman. Now, her husband that she is suspected of poisoning, the poisoning is suspected to have taken place in the hotel, and his spirit is one of the suspected spirits that many people report seeing and hearing throughout the property. The hotel is also reported to be visited regularly by several other spirits. In the attic, there's a young girl who they call Annabelle, which was not the best choice of names if you're asking me. But she just hangs out up in the attic. Many visitors bring her little toys to try to get her to interact with them. They'll leave gifts for her all the time. And there's many reports of toys being rearranged and moved throughout the property that seemingly are unexplained. There are reports that men are more scared there than women. There was, according to, the small town talk, there was a lady of the night who was murdered there many years ago, and she apparently still takes up residency down the hill and basically tries to have her way with men as they come in the door. There are reports that people's zippers are down. They can feel touching, and it's very uncomfortable for men, so much so that many of them, once they get to the front door, are like, nope, fuck this, I'll be in the car. You go ahead, honey, take pictures, I'll be right here. I'll hold your purse. People have reported cooking noises, slamming doors, just different sounds that cannot be unexplained. They see shadows, they see weird lights, there's orbs, there's full figures, there's an abundance of things that go on there that cannot be explained by all the people who have ever been there. The belief is, and it even says it on the website, if you're going to take pictures and hope to get something, interesting and something to talk about, tomorrow over the water cooler, that you need to take pictures in series of 3s. And that the second picture is always the picture that will show some sort of anomaly or abnormal anything. Like, the second picture is the one. So if you ever go, take pictures in a series of 3 and see what happens. Now, when I went today to get the footage for you guys, I just took video because I was alone, and I thought if I take 3 pictures and there's some crazy shit on that second one, no. That's a bring a buddy event. I'm not gonna fly. I'm not flying on that broom solo. I'm just letting you know that. So many ghost hunters, many paranormal enthusiasts, and even the Travel Channel have come to my neck of the woods to get footage of this place, to investigate it and see what sort of, you know, experiences they can have. The cameraman for the Travel Channel, one of them said that he was not comfortable there, that his zipper was in fact down, and he thought, okay, this is some weird ass shit. He just did not like it and pretty much didn't want to go to work while they were filming here. Now, the property sat vacant for a very long time, and it became very dilapidated, and just, it looked crazier than what it was reported to be, or just as crazy as it reported to be, depending on what side of the fence you fall on. Now, the guy who purchased it recently swore up and down that he had no idea that it was haunted up until the time that the Travel Channel contacted him to film the episode of the most haunted place, or the most terrifying places in America. He had no clue. I find that extremely hard to believe, but I don't know the guy, so I just have to take him for his word. So the guy didn't know that the place was haunted, and he wanted to purchase it in order to just renovate it and kind of bring it back to, you know, its original architectural structure from over the years and just kind of make it cool. Well, once he found out that it was haunted and that people like absolutely love this property and they always want to come there, he decided that during renovations, he's going to keep it open so you can still go down there and tour. I'm not sure right now if there are still overnight things, but I will link the website in the description box below, right downstairs. So if you do want to come make a reservation, oh my God, please feel free to do so. The walking tours are definitely still going on, and he said that they will go on throughout the renovation. Once renovations are complete, it's going to become a bed and breakfast. Now, that sounds all fine and dandy, and it's really cute right down the road, and we got wineries around town. However, I am not one to get the shit scared out of me on purpose. I don't pay to go to haunted houses this time of year. I'm not like in it to win it. Now I'll go down and do the walking tour. I'm not sure about spending the night, but one thing you can bet your ass on is that my husband will not be going with me, because he will be like, hell no, I'll be at the house. I'll hold your purse. You go on and go have a good time. So if anybody wants to come and spend the night with me, once the bed and breakfast is open, drop me a comment down below, and I'll definitely keep you posted, and we'll make us some plans. So St. Louis has a ton of haunted history, not just the one that's right down the street from us. All over our area, there are tons and tons of different things. The story of The Exorcist actually took place here in St. Louis. That story scares the shit out of me, if I'm being honest. I don't even like to talk about anything that has to do with that word, but the story itself is absolutely mind-blowing, and I've actually been by a lot of the landmarks that took place with that story, so I will probably get up the balls to tell that story between now and Halloween. And I also plan to tell a whole bunch of other, you know, supernatural, spooky, different stories from around my area. I would love to know the things that go on in your area. Depending on where you live, you might have just a couple, but if you live in certain parts of the country or even the world, your area could be absolutely overflowing with these amazing, kick-ass, supernatural stories that I would love to hear about. So please send me links, drop some stuff in the comments. Just let me know. I am dying to know more about all kinds of this stuff. So big thumbs up if you want to see more spooky supernatural stuff from in St. Louis and from around the world. Like I said, I love spooky and supernatural and ghost stories and just different stuff. I love this stuff 365 days a year. It's just more fun to talk about it in October when you have all these cool decorations and everybody's kind of in the mood. So thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I look forward to bringing you guys some more fun videos. Be sure to give a big thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe so you can be subjected to more of my randomness. Thank you guys so much. I hope you're having a great day wherever this video finds you. Peace out, Girl Scouts.